Good evening, folks, and a very, very warm welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us here on DinamoTV. It is an absolute pleasure to be with you here tonight. DinamoTV, the official podcast of the St Albans Dinamo Football Club. My name is Tonchi Prusats. As I said, it's an absolute pleasure to be with you here tonight. It's episode 26 already. That means we've been going for a full half a year, 6 months uninterrupted. And tonight's show is going to have a slightly different format, maybe a slightly shorter length in duration, but we've got two fantastic guests. And tonight will be more of a magazine-style format. And over the coming days, we've got some exclusive DinamoTV special segments or reports, if you like, coming up over the next 48 to 72 hours ahead of Sunday's big games, both for the senior women's and senior men's. It's as I said, it's a busy time. A lot's been happening behind the scenes, and I guess a big shout out to everyone at St Albans Dinamo. All of the hard work happening behind the scenes is slowly starting to come to fruition, as we can all see. As far as the senior men's team, 6 new recruits. All the hard work behind the scenes to sign marquee players, quality players, reinforcements that are going to really change our season around. That was all evident last Sunday in what was, deemed by the NPL match commentator Lachlan Flanagan as the upset of the season. Was it the upset of the season, or was it something that deep down we knew the club had, the boys had? Well, they certainly did. An exceptional achievement by recording a very, very important win over Heidelberg United. A little later on in the show, we'll have highlights of that. And then we'll also be speaking with our newest recruit and a player who certainly made his mark in his first game for the Plavi, and that is MICHAEL Martinovich. He'll be joining us a little bit later on in the show. He's actually finishing work at 8 p.m. tonight, would you believe? And he is going to, straight after work, be joining us. That's the kind of level of dedication and commitment that is at the moment evident around the club. Speaking of the club legends, they don't come any bigger than MICKY COLINA, former player, a former coach. He was involved off the field, if you like, last week when it was the Save the Scoreboard Zabava, when his iconic Croatian community band Major Minor was entertaining the crowds. We'll be speaking to Mickey, probably not so much about his time at the club, because we'll save that for another time. But on a sadder note, we'll be talking about some of the club's legendary members of the first generation who are slowly starting to pass. And this week we farewelled 2 of those members, Ivan Cicak and MICKY COLINA's own uncle, Ivan Kovacevic, whose sons were both the Kovacevic brothers were just, have contributed so much to the club. But we'll be speaking to MICKY COLINA about what having a community element to a club like Dinamo means and how important it is. So, folks, it's a big show tonight. Don't go away. We're going to have our very, very first commercial break before we get into the news desk. And it's a couple of words from our major sponsor, the I&D Group. Oh, that's the wrong one. We already had that. That was the introduction. So we're going to have now if we can bring that up. We certainly can. The I&D Group.
The I&D Group is regarded as one of the largest deliverers of concrete structure solutions in Victoria. Formed in 1994 by Ivan and Kathy Filipovic, their passion and commitment to getting the job done safely and economically has underpinned their success in the industry. I&D partners with large-scale building and construction companies in both the private and public sectors on projects large and small. With our corporate headquarters based in South Melbourne and storage yard based in the southeast suburbs, we have at our disposal thousands of square metres of quality materials, along with state-of-the-art lifting and crane equipment, enabling us to deliver the largest projects. We are committed to delivering high-quality projects by partnering with our clients and collaborating with project suppliers to ensure each job is delivered to exceed expectations. From humble beginnings, I&D now employs more than 1,200 dedicated professional and support staff, involved in a number of landmark projects right across Victoria. The I&D Group is a massive supporter of the Croatian community, backed soccer clubs in Victoria, and is proud to be the major sponsor of the St Albans Dinamo Football Club in 2024.
Welcome back to DinamoTV, and it is time now for the news desk, and we'll obviously start that by talking about what happened over the weekend. Before the last weekend, what a massive game it was. It certainly was. It was a huge game for Dinamo. It's a must-win game. We really needed to win that, and we did that in such a great fashion. 1-0 against Heidelberg United, and we'll just bring up the ladder and what that means for the team. There we go. And so that means now we're in second last position, 1 point behind Manningham United. And look, the key thing here is this weekend, Manningham United taking on Moreland City. This is on Saturday. So it's an important game, obviously, in the context of what is going to happen to Dinamo. But Dinamo going to take on Altona Magic on Sunday. But in the meantime, let's turn our attention back to what happened last Sunday. And here's some of the match highlights from last Sunday's very important 1-0 win over Heidelberg United.
Into later. The other name into the 11 is a familiar one and a big one for St Albans and a familiar one for Heidelberg United. Brian Summerskill is into the starting 11 to face his former side, while for Heidelberg United, chance to get back onto the winners list and bounce back from Doherty Cup playoff disappointment at the hands of South Melbourne on Wednesday night. They were valiant in a 2-1 defeat as St Albans get us underway, and with that cup football in mind, John Anastasia, Yakakawa, Cabrera, not leaving anything to the imagination. Again, this one increasingly feeling like it is in the hands of St Albans. Cabrera in the direction of Joey Monek, an icon of St Albans Saints. What can he do here? Back to Summerskill. The ex-Burger. Searching ball and off the crossbar. Summerskill almost producing something special. Still alive. Cabrera. Monek! Of course it's Joey Monek! The cellar dwellers with a moment to savour. And it's Joey Monek, St Albans Saints through and through. Sabittingor loses out to the double coverage. Cam Watson is calling for the full-time whistle. The clearance is long. St Albans have the win. What a result for St Albans Saints. 1-0 the scoreline. And one of the upsets of the season.
Boys,
Oh, sorry, pardon me. We had to hit the mute button there. We're back there. And there's the ladder. And that shows the situation at the moment ahead of Sunday's big game. Now, Sunday is kicking off at 3 p.m. at home. We're taking on Altona Magic. And Altona Magic defeated Avondale 1-0 last week. So it's not going to be an easy game. It's going to be a tough game, that's for sure. And as we mentioned on the Saturday, it's a crucial game, obviously, between Manningham United and Moreland City. That game is at 3 p.m. out at Petty's Reserve in Manningham United's home ground. Manningham United are currently 12th position. They've got 14 points. We'll bring that ladder back up. And they're in third last position. Dinamo at the moment in second last position with 13 points. Now, as a result of last week's brilliant win, we had two players make the team of the week. Joey Monek, the goal hero, and Michael Martinovic, who's also our guest for tonight. He also made it through to the team of the week, so well done. The under-23s, the under-23s, Adam Tenanini's men and Ian Burke, the assistant coach there, they defeated Heidelberg 3-2. Great result for the youngsters. Jesse Chop scoring 2 goals. Nicholas Murray scoring 1 goal. That means now St Albans jump up to 6th position on the ladder. 9 wins, 3 draws and 9 losses. 30 points at the moment. And they come up against Altona Magic this weekend, who are in 5th position. And they are on 33 points. So a win this weekend against Magic at home, we'll see St Albans Dinamo in the under-23s jump into 5th position. So that game kicks off at 12 o'clock this Sunday. Let's turn our attention now to the women. And over the next, 24 to 48 hours, we hope to have some exclusive extended interview footage with Tom Pondeljak, the senior women's team coach, hoping also to catch up with Jana Colina, the captain of the senior women's team. They've been out of action for the last 2 weeks with a catch-up round and a postponed game. But the ladies return to the field this Sunday when they travel to Paisley Park, pitch number 3, to take on Altona East Phoenix. And that's an important game in round 12 action of the Women's State League 2 competition. Westgate are on top with 28 points at the moment, undefeated. They are 5 points clear of our girls, who are also undefeated, and we've got 1 game less in hand as well. Alrighty, moving along to other news as well. Unfortunately, we haven't had an opportunity to with the junior boys NPL results and fixtures. We haven't had time. I've been away actually for the last 3 days, so we haven't been able to prepare all the graphics. But on our social media platforms, we have had the results of the junior boys NPL over the weekend just gone by. On a sad note, we farewelled 2 members of our community this week. Ivan Chichak was the first of those. There we go. That was the post put up by the club this week. St Albans Dinamo Football Club mourns the passing of longtime member and supporter Ivan Chichak. Ivan will be remembered by everyone who knew him for his positive outlook on life, as well as his loyalty and dedication to the Croatian cause. We extend our deepest condolences to his wife Ermina, daughters Monica and Martina, son-in-laws Brendan and Milan, grandson Gabriel, siblings Zlatko and Mara and their families. He was farewelled on Monday, and the wake later was held at the Dinamo club rooms at Churchill Reserve. And a day later, on Tuesday, it was Ivan Kovacevic's turn to be farewelled. The St Albans Dinamo Football Club wishes to express its condolences to the family of Ivan Kovacevic, a long-time supporter who recently passed away. Ivan was the father of former players Ante and Joe, with Joe also having served as a senior coach. He's survived by his wife Ljuba, children Joe, Ante and Angela, son-in-law Marko, and grandchildren Lucia and Antea. Počiva u miru Božjem. That was the message from the club. It's always sad to farewell some of our members of the first generation who have been with this club for so long. And after the break, we're going to be speaking to a club legend, a living legend himself, MICKY COLINA, about the importance of the community, the Croatian community element to a club like Dinamo, and how football is just a small part of all that puzzle, but an important part of that puzzle, no doubt. But also, it's that community element that makes our club so very special, folks. We're going to take a very, very short break. And then when we return, we will be speaking with MICKY COLINA about the community element of the club. Don't go away, folks.
Westar Prestige is a family-owned second-generation business which is celebrating 50 years of operations this year. They're a specialist prestige collision repair facility situated in the western suburbs of Melbourne, Victoria. However, they service all regions in the state, with many of their clients travelling from far and wide to use their services. They're also able to provide a digital platform for quoting clients' vehicles who are unable to personally attend their premises. They're an authorised manufacturer-approved repair facilities for Mercedes-Benz, Tesla, Peugeot and Suzuki, and are proud of their ongoing affiliation with these brands. They also work closely with a number of Australia's largest insurance brands who entrust them to be part of their preferred repairer network. Their support staff are always happy to assist clients from the initial process of lodging claims through to the final stages of collection of the vehicle on completion of repairs and post-repair. So remember, for all your prestige collision repair needs, consider Westar Prestige, an award-winning, long-standing Australian-owned business.
Welcome back to DinamoTV, and just prior to the break, we spoke about just the importance of the community, the Croatian community, to a club just like Dinamo St Albans. And someone who can really tell us a lot about that is an absolute dear guest to DinamoTV, a living legend himself of the club. And it's an absolute pleasure to welcome to DinamoTV MICKY COLINA. MICKY, good evening, and how are you?
Great, Tonchi. Thanks for the very humbling introduction, and always great to be part of the show. And again, always say well done to you and the crew. Fantastic effort. Fantastic job what you guys have been doing for the club from a social media point of view and this platform. So, yeah, well done to all involved.
Yeah. During the week, mate, as we said, we farewelled two very valuable members of our community, and that's just how it is, I guess. We're a club that's almost 50 years old. Club was formed in the late 1970s or the 1970s, and as we speak, it's going to be that change of the generation. We talk so much about it. And unfortunately, these days, we sort of seem to be the only time people our vintage kind of get to meet each other is used to be weddings and christenings. Now it's funerals, isn't it? It's a bit sad, but that's just how it is, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it is always sad. We often do say that lately, the last 5 or 10 years, I suppose.
Yeah.
Catch up with most people at funerals, but it is, as many understand, a part of life, and I always say, as one old fella did tell me once at a funeral when my cool passed away many years ago, as long as it happens in order, in sequence, it's a lot easier to accept, I guess, and but needless to say, I mean, like everything, we move on, and obviously the families involved in any of these people when they're passing, it's obviously they go through the loss and the mourning, etc. But I think it's always important to also celebrate the life of these people and the roles that they play within that community or just within their families or whatever roles they did play,
Yeah. Now, one of those two gentlemen, Ivan Kovacevic, who passed away, will bring that in memoriam notice up there. That's someone very close to you. In fact, that was your uncle. First of all, tell us the connection there, and how did the family sort of receive the news and all of that?
Well, first, my mum and Ivan's wife are sisters, so obviously first cousins. My tetak, as they say, my uncle. Yeah. Naturally, look, Ivan, for those who are close and know, he was unwell for a while, and sadly, he lost his battle almost 10 days ago now. And in the end, we always say at least he's at peace.
Yeah.
The family's sad, of course, as you would be, and it'll take time for the whole process to you go through it and I guess heal. But like I always say, they're in your hearts and your memories forever. They'll never change. And you do go on. You have to go on. And I think Ivan, the kind of person he is, he would want nobody to mourn or be sad. He'd want all of us to just carry on and do everything that you think is good in relation to football. He was a lover of football. Obviously, it's St Dinamo as a club, dear to his heart in so many ways. And like I said, knowing him, the first thing he'd say, let's all get to the game and support the club and hopefully get another win under our belt,
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, it's a time when the senior team in particular needs our support. That's for sure. One day we'll get you on there. We'll have to talk about your playing days and your coaching days. But I guess before we talk about the community, a bit of the community element, just from a personal point of view, what's your recollections of your uncle, and what were some of the things that you kind of remember fondly of him, particularly in connection to Dinamo St Albans?
Well, obviously it goes way back to the Maidstone days, Dobson Reserve.
Mm-hmm.
Many of us and him was obviously a big attendee of everything from training sessions to the games, of course. His two sons, yours and Anta, as juniors, along with myself and my two brothers and many others, where the whole Dinamo thing started from a junior point of view, following the back of the Sunday League team, which was the initial team that represented the club, I guess, and obviously grew the junior base. And so obviously, at Maidstone, it was very humble. We had one little change room. Most kids got changed before they got to the game, as in junior days, they didn't need a change room. No showers required. It was like you wore your football gear all day long, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And many of us, after our game, would probably go and watch Melbourne, Croatia, still in our football gear, and some even wearing their boots sort of thing. But Ivan was one of these characters that, put it this way, never said anything bad about anyone. I've got to say, he was one of these individuals, always try to look at the positive. Even when we lose a game, okay, never mind, we go again next week, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. He loves his football. Obviously, Snorbert Dinamo dear to his heart. Melbourne, Croatia, when every game he could. Even some of the local games when everybody played away or whatever it was and they couldn't get to a game, he'd go watch St George's or whoever was local,
Yeah.
Football, very passionate about that. And obviously, as a parent, seeing his boys play and go through the ranks and play some senior football. Joe obviously coached at St Albans for a period there. Anta went on from St Albans senior football to play at Melbourne, Croatia, and win a couple of championships. So that was a very, very proud moment for Ivan. Needless to say, as you could imagine, to have someone from the family represent, a big club in the Croatian community.
Yeah.
And win these championships, I could imagine as a parent now myself, you'd be immensely proud. And obviously Ante went and made a career out of football on and off the park for many years after that. But even, like I said, as some people mentioned, like gentle giant, he was a gentle giant, a really nice man. I'm not saying that because my uncle, but he was, and I'm sure that many would definitely support what I say. He was one of these individuals who never got involved in any, I don't know. Like I say, he was always a positive person and looked at everything in a positive light, looked at the half glass full rather than half glass empty.
Yep.
And he'll be really, really missed by so many, obviously the family and those who know him. And last few years, obviously he was unwell and never got the opportunity to get out to the games like he always did before. But like I say, that life hands you some cards and you deal with them the best way you can. And look, like I said, his legacy will live on in our family, that's for sure.
Yep.
And and he will be missed. But as I said, life goes on. You know what he did.
Yeah. On last weekend, last Sunday, the players from both sides held a minute's silence in memory of the two gentlemen, Ivan Cicak and Ivan Kovacevic. And we'd like to think that their spirit was there at Churchill Reserve, watching upon the boys and egging them on over across the line. And, the Modri won in the end, 1-0 over Heidelberg, and what a win that was. Mate, also last weekend, now we're talking about the community element of it, and now we're talking on to something positive. It was a fantastic night. The light up our scoreboard, Zabava and Mickey, you were obviously involved as part of the entertainment, you and your iconic band have been over the last, dare I say, 30, 40 years of the Croatian community, major, minor.
40 years. Yeah, 40 years.
Yeah, what a night it was. And we're seeing some video footage there taken by our hard-working Vice President, John Bilos. He was the roving reporter on the night. But the thing that strikes me about this was not just the music and the good night that was had, and we also heard about the very, very successful fundraising, 41,000 or whatever it was that was raised above the target. Well, the target was 40,000, but more than 40,000 was raised, which is absolutely fantastic. But it was just the makeup of the people. I mean, it was predominantly second generation with a few third generation Australian Croatians, and that's the essence of the community, isn't it? We talked about this off air earlier today, and you mentioned that something that really resonates with me. A club like Dinamo, like football is such an important element of it, but it's such a small element of it. It's the community, and in our case, the Croatian community. And we're very, very welcoming of other nationalities and cultures, but we're also very, very proud of our own. And that's what makes this club so great.
I agree, Tonchi, as we discussed earlier today. I think, we've all been involved, yourself, myself, and many others, and we are the recipients and, the humble recipients of the hard work that the first generation of immigrants coming to this country, like Ivan Kovacevic and, and Ivan Cicak and my father and so many other parents who obviously got involved and tried to create something that they can be proud of from a Croatian point of view, and in this case, a footballing club. And I think they're for me, I'm humbled when you mention some words of legend status, myself and stuff like that, but it's almost embarrassing for me to sometimes hear that, although it is nice. But, for me, the true legends are all these people that, that some are no longer with us.
Yeah.
Many are still today. And for me, they're the true legends of the club, and there's so many that we can mention that are the fabric of the club. Now, we as second generation and third generation come on the back of their hard work.
Yeah, true.
They created this platform for us and for our children. And I'm hoping that we can leverage of the work that they did. And it was also work that was done in really testing times where there's so many obstacles that they had to jump over and get through. And, some were financial, some were political. There's so many different things that they had to deal with. And even just the language barrier for some or just knowing the landscape and how it all worked. But it was just, I think, the sheer passion and love for trying to create something that they can call their own and call home to a certain degree, away from home.
Yep.
And we're here now enjoying the fruits of their labor. And I'm hoping it is pleasing when you see, and this is a credit to Ilya and his crew who've done enormous work over the last many years to, I think, from the outside looking in, although you're sort of connected to the club, but you sometimes sort of take a little step back and try to have relatively neutral eyes as you sort of observe. And I've seen just the movement at the club in such a positive direction. And I think the key's being recognising the community and the importance of the community football, yes, it's a part of it. Is a footballing club, but I always feel these days football it's hard. You
Yeah.
see how difficult it is at A-League level, let alone at NPL level, for clubs to sort of survive and do what they do. But at St Albans and many other similar clubs, they're based and they live off. I mean, I should say live off, but the fundamental conduit that keeps them going is these volunteers.
Yeah.
Students do all this. They don't get paid. They do it because they love it. They love their club. They, again, I'm hoping want to create a place that they can be proud of and keep building on what was built before them.
Yep.
And again, like I say, Saturday night was an example, as you mentioned earlier, seeing such a different demographic of the second and third generation people connected to the club with the same passion and love for it that our parents had. I think this is the fabric that's going to keep clubs like St Albans not so much alive, but healthy.
Yeah.
I always say, my opinion is you have to be a healthy club, and that healthy club can mean many things. No disrespect to anyone, but there's probably a big percentage of people that come to a St Albans game and they don't even know who we're playing.
Yeah.
But they'll come because of the social aspect. They meet their friends. They enjoy being part of it. They come there. So, it's great that we are a club that caters for so many people in so many ways, and they can find something that attracts them to be part of what we have,
Yeah. Now, Mickey, if there was someone that was probably able to answer the following question, it's someone like yourself. Now, I think this has never happened as far as I know. You've pretty much played or coached at every one of the major Croatian clubs in Victoria. We're talking Dandenong City, we're talking Melbourne Knights, North Geelong Warriors, Strathmore Split, where you are the coach now, Dinamo St Albans, Gorse Beach Bears as well, St Albans. Well, God, is that right? I'm not sure.
I'm a player coach there, I suppose.
Yeah, you've been everywhere. But in addition to that, mate, with major minor, I guess you've really got to know pretty much every Croatian community in Australia. And look, I use Newcastle, Croatia as an example because that's a club that we featured on one of the other podcasts that I do, the Oz Crow Soccer Show. And in Newcastle, the Croatian communities almost underwent this kind of rejuvenation, this renaissance, all because of Newcastle, Croatia, the football club, being resurrected after about 20-odd years or something like that. Big cheerio to all the Newcastle, Croatia crew, Karl Živkovic and Luka Pilipovic, etc., and all those guys, if they're tuning in. But, mate, how important is football, the sport, as a vehicle to the Croatian community to really keep the community strong and healthy? Or is it sometimes a little bit too much of a pressure thing that can sometimes, I don't know, I can, make, what's the word? Do we maybe sometimes focus too much on the football side of it, or maybe not enough? What do you think?
Well, I think the football is, as you said, the vehicle that brought everybody together, and that was the main reason St Albans exists, Melbourne, Croatia exists, Dandy City and North Geelong and Strathmore Split and all the other Croatian clubs around the country. I think you have to be a healthy club, and the healthy club does cover your football, covers everything else that you also encompass within the walls of your place, whatever that may be. And again, like I say, football is a big part of our whole culture. I mean, you just have a look at the Euros. You look at when the Bartolini play and what it means to us now as a people. To have your team represented at the highest level in the world and achieving, some feats that nobody ever expected us to achieve. So football, you can't ignore. It's a big part of our identity. It's in our DNA, whether we like it or not. We're not all football players. Yeah, that's fair enough. But, I mean, I think even the non-football people will still always want to go watch Bartolini when they play. They might not go watch every Dinamo game or Knights or God knows what, but there'll be something that connects them, and football is that conduit, regardless of what. They will always bring the masses together. And I think And, all these little clubs, if you want to put it that way, in comparison to the Watani, let's say.
Yeah.
And we will play a part in keeping that alive. It is a vehicle, whether we like or not. It's a good, look at it, you can look at the health part and this lifestyle and all that, getting kids together and playing and being involved in a sporting environment where there's different disciplines that you have to learn about, and being part of a team and respect and all those other things. And you never know. There's talented kids out there that, who knows what they could become, and why not? Why not? You've got to give them a platform to be able to try to achieve that, and why can't it be us?
Yeah, exactly. Look, I think when Bill Shankly, that legendary Liverpool manager of the 1960s and 70s, when he made the comment, the immortal comment, football is not a matter of life or death, it's more important than that. I think he just returned from a week on the Croatian Adriatic coast and spent some time with Croatians. Because
it's right, it is, and I guess, we can be proud of what we've done, and I think there's so many good things that we should be proud of, and I think there's some of the things we should focus on.
Exactly, and we sometimes forget that, and it's moments like these that really you put that into perspective. Yeah, Mickey, we could speak all night, and one day I'm sure we will. Thank you so much, and I know you're a very humble man, but even a lot of our viewers, Stuart Wolf, Anthony Pinterich, they all say you are a legend, and that is certainly the case. Mickey Colina, thank you for joining us on DinamoTV.
Thanks for having me, Torchy, and all the best, and good luck this weekend to the lads. I'm wishing them all the best, and don't stop believing. I'm sure we can get this done.
Absolutely. Let's have a magical Sunday afternoon by beating the Magic.
That's it. Well done.
Good idea. And that's Mickey Colina. Folks, we're going to take a break, and it is the Mickey and Michael show tonight. Mickey Colina was our first guest, and our next guest will be our newest Dinamovac, and he's come over from Heidelberg, from Dandenong City, Heidelberg, on loan. He's our newest recruit, Michael Martinovic. He'll be joining us straight after this break, folks. Don't go away. It is DinamoTV, episode 26. Welcome back to DinamoTV, and what a great interview that was with none other than Mickey Colina, a true legend. Let's remind you about the NPL Team of the Week as selected by the NPL commentators each week, and two of our esteemed members of the senior team, rightfully so, gained a place on the Team of the Week roster. Joey Monek scoring that wonderful, wonderful goal, and a player who made a massive impact in his very, very, very first outing for Dinamo, Michael Martinovic. And Michael joins us now on DinamoTV. Good evening, Michael. How are you?
Not too bad. How are we doing?
Very, very well, mate. Now, am I right to believe that you've just knocked off work like at 8 o'clock or something like that?
Mate, I'm still in the clinic. Doesn't stop.
Still in the clinic. Can we ask, what do you do for a profession?
Remedial massage therapy, actually. So I'll be on my way to finishing my physio degree. But so in the industry, doing what I got to do.
Well, let's give your clinic a plug. Do you own that clinic or you work for someone?
No, work in two separate clinics. So Port Melbourne physio working here, and then Muscle Freedom in Blackrock as well. So driving around town, and then now driving all the way up to St Albans Dinamo for the games.
Fantastic, mate. Well, first of all, congratulations on being named in the Team of the Week. But we've also got something else to announce, and that is that you are the Senior Men's NPL Player of the Week award winner. So congratulations. You've done that in your first outing. Now, mate, I was commentating the Dinamo and Dandenong City game at Churchill Reserve earlier this year with Alex Sivkorovsky. And one player that really caught my eye, and I thought, you know what, I can't really show too much of my allegiance. I mean, I like all the Croatian clubs, of course, you know. But if there was one Dandenong City player I would have loved to have been in Dinamo's team, it was yourself. And, well, lo and behold, you have finally come over to Dinamo. So well done on that. How did that all come about? How did we manage to snare you on loan from Dandy City?
Mate, it's a strong Croatian community. We'll put it that way. Look, it very, very sudden, we'll call it. Thursday, I was still in the clinic doing my work, and big Ivi Klarica gave me the call. Said there was a little bit of background work going on, and my name got brought up. I was almost requested, I guess. So it's a bit of an honour in that sense as well, to be called over to try and help the lads stay out of that relegation battle, if we'll call it. But very, very sudden, you know. Tolsey gave me a buzz as well, and then I was on the phone with Cam for a little bit. So convincing fella he is. He did the hard yards, and look, I'll take the battle. You know, it's a new challenge, and I'm looking forward to it. And obviously on the weekend, the boys showed their true colours, and mate, what a win! Yeah.
Now, we all know what Lee Broxham's like, you know. If you loved him or you hated him when he was at Melbourne Victory. Personally, I couldn't stand him at Melbourne Victory. But now he's at Dinamo. We love him. We absolutely
not a bad bloke
love
anymore, is he?
Yeah. What's it like? Firstly, what's it like playing under a legend of the local game such as Cam Watson? I mean, he played at Melbourne Knights in the old NSL day, in the NPL, VPL days, whatever. He's coached now, but then Lee is an absolute legend of the local game here in Victoria. And what's it like playing under Cam and alongside Lee?
Oh, look, it's great to kind of, without giving them big heads, you know, they're not too bad, pretty calm, very experienced. You know, their understanding of the game and kind of the mannerism I think they take forward with it as well is good to see, and it's good to experience that firsthand as well. Very sharp, they're very confident, and they back the boys, which is what I like as well. Coming into the club, not one bit of negativity. Everything's been very positive coming forward. Cam's very understanding of everyone's situation. He kind of will deep dive into your personal a little bit as well. He first thing, he kind of made sure what's going on, what are we doing for work, how are you mentally as well, stress and whatnot. And the boys at the club kind of do the same thing. And Lee, on the other hand, mate, he's all business. Straight to the training ground. He's serious. You can have a laugh with him, but you see it on the pitch. Very composed on the ball. Yep. He's been playing for a long time, and he just knows where to position himself and how to communicate with the lads too, and help everyone out on the field. So I can learn a lot from him for sure.
Yeah, and look, one of the things in recent weeks, our defence has looked a bit shaky, but with the inclusion of yourself and Lee there across the back line, it just looks such a completely different and such a strong defence. Throwing captain Michael Gurgic as well, who just seemed to go up a level as well. And then you've got Mark Bulich as well in goals. We've got such this. It just all of a sudden in just a matter of 1 week, it's just a whole air of it's just hope, of positivity now sort of seems to permeate from the club. Looking ahead to Altona Magic, they're not going to be easy. They defeated Avondale. Don't know how, but they did somehow. And apparently Avondale also missed a penalty. So it is going to be a tough game. How's the team been approaching this week? I'm sure Cam's trying to, keep the lid on so that everyone doesn't get too carried away. But how do you approach a game like Altona Magic?
Oh, look, a wise man once told me a win and a loss only last 24 hours. So we've partied, we had a laugh. Everyone was good on the Monday recovery. Wednesday training was just back to business, straight into kind of your patterns, your tactics, and just switching back on. Cam still drilled us at training. There's no light work to be taken here. We still got to be sharp. We still got to move around and work hard. I think everyone understands the position we're in, not just as players, but as a club overall, which is a huge factor, I guess, as to why I've come across as well. It's for the club. And look, everyone's kind of heads down, training hard. We're still doing our sprints and ball work. So every game forward from here is tough, no matter what, they're on the ladder. It's all going to be challenging. And I'm sure we've got a few things up the sleeve, and we'll know how to break them down.
Yeah. 5 games to go. There's still plenty of football. I mean, that's 15 points, and if we could do what we did against Heidelberg, I'm sure there are other games as well. And the good thing is that there's quite a fair few games at home to come as well. So the run home is going to be very, very good. Michael, as far as you personally, what's your what are your ambitions with regards to your own football over the next few years?
Oh, look, not too sure. It's I guess every year it's changing depending on how the hips are feeling, and overall, I joke around saying I'm getting old and the back's going, the hips are going, but not too sure. This kind of move in itself was a spanner in the works. The boys at Dandy are making sure they keep me nice and close to them, making sure they don't let me go. But look, yeah, any opportunity given is one I will consider, of course. And obviously you're doing the best you can every week, trying to stay fit. And if the opportunity comes forward to go a step further, I'm pretty sure we'll grab that as well.
Yeah. Now, I spent the last couple of days up in Sydney, actually, at a Football Tech youth tournament. There'll be a lot more to talk about that in coming months, that's for sure. But it was at Sydney United's ground, a sister club, Croatian sister club, and talking to a lot of people there about the proposed national second division. There's still a lot of uncertainty, but then there's also a little bit of excitement about what it could bring. No one really knows, and all of that kind of stuff. But bringing that a little bit closer to home, is that something that kind of might be on your radar, not necessarily next year, but maybe in years to come? And wouldn't it be great to have a Melbourne-based Croatian club playing in that NSD?
I definitely think so. That would bring another derby, I'd say. It would bring some excitement to it. I think it's a great thing. And if they can get that brewing earlier, it's going to be better for the community having that promotion, relegation, or whatever kind of battle it is. It's only going to grow the sport overall. And if we can keep the culture within it as well, it's just something that the community can kind of back as well and bring us closer together. Even though we might be, Sydney versus Melbourne, we still are one as a collective, and we'll have a little bit of a little bit of drama on the field, I'm sure, with them. But no, it's a big step for football, and I think it's a great idea, and it's going to be tough, but they're working hard to get that up and running.
Yeah, absolutely. Mate, thank you so much for joining us, and at such short notice as well. Really, really appreciate it. Welcome to Churchill Reserve. You will no doubt be a fan favourite after that first outing, and let's see if you can get a couple more Player of the Week awards this year. But it's exciting times. We certainly hope that last week's win wasn't just a flash in the pan, and I'm sure and I know it wasn't. Really looking forward to this Sunday. Folks, get out in your hundreds, get out in your thousands and support the boys. And Michael, we really look forward to seeing you donning the blue again this Sunday.
I'm looking forward to seeing everyone else there as well.
Absolutely. Good on you. Michael Martinovich, our newest recruit of the senior men's team. Folks, don't go away. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back to wrap things up. Welcome back to DinamoTV, and that pretty much brings us up to the end of tonight's show. Over the next few days, stay tuned to our social media channels. There will be some exciting exclusive extra footage of DinamoTV leading up to Sunday's games for both the senior men's and senior women's team. Before that, though, on starting this Saturday, in fact, we're thrilled to announce that applications are now open for Term 3 of the Dinamo Football Academy Girls Only Academy. Whether you're a seasoned player or new to the game, join us and be part of a supportive community dedicated to nurturing talent and passion for football. If you haven't already, do fill out the jot form. It's on our Facebook page, or do contact the club. Stepan Gal is your man at Churchill Reserve. Next week, it will be a special female football focus edition of DinamoTV. We'll be talking about the Dinamo Football Academy Girls Only program. We'll also be talking about the senior women's team performance on the weekend as well. So, folks, that is something to look forward to next week. And, of course, we'll have our usual catch up with the coaches, the Players of the Week award winners, and a lot more as well. My name is Tonchi Prusats, and I've been with you, and it's been a pleasure to have been with you over the last hour. Good night.